doing well. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today we are doing a baking video for the first time in a long time. I feel like I used to make more of these like cooking, baking type videos, but I feel like I haven't had anything worth filming as far as cooking goes. I haven't really been experimenting or anything like that, but it is the fall season. It's cozy season. You can tell I'm in my sweater. I have my blankets. I am nice and cozy. And if you could smell my apartment right now, I just made I believe it is a brown sugar chocolate chip banana bread, and I just pulled it out of the oven, so I already filmed the whole process of making it. I just pulled it out of the oven, so it smells like a dream in here, and it has to sit for an hour before I taste it. So I'm gonna come back in an hour and we're gonna taste it together. So if you want to watch that part, stay tuned until the end. But I filmed the whole thing, so the middle portion of this video will be a voiceover. I know you guys really like my voiceover, so if you like the kind of style of recording of like my YouTube shorts, or if you're on Patreon, my vlogs that are all whispered over, or they're all voiceovers, this video is going to be just like that in the middle, and then we'll come back in the end and we'll taste it together. This recipe is fairly easy. It does take a decent amount of prep, but the longest part is the actual baking portion, which takes an hour, and then you have to let it sit for an hour. So that's what takes the bulk of the time. The only thing that I would change and do differently is, if you've ever made banana bread, you know you're supposed to use overly ripe bananas because those are the sweetest type of bananas. And when I went to the supermarket today, I could not find any overripe bananas. They were all either green or perfect. So I had no choice. I had to use ones that were like ripe but not overripe. So that's the only thing that I wish I could have changed. I haven't tasted it yet, obviously, so we'll see. But I had to make it today because tomorrow I'm going over to my mom's house. My family is coming over. We're having a big like football watch party, Sunday football watch party, and so I'm bringing the banana loaf, so I'm gonna cut a slice today, and then the rest I will take to my mom's house tomorrow. So couldn't wait for the bananas to get ripe, but that's okay. So anyway, I think I have talked enough. I will link the recipe down below if you want to follow it yourself, and I'll try to explain it really well in this video as well, in case you want to make it. So without further ado, let's get started with the baking. So the very first thing you're going to do is preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to melt half a cup of butter, which is equivalent to 1 stick of butter. So these are 2 halves. So we're gonna go ahead and melt that. It melts really quickly, so just be attentive and stir it. You're gonna let the butter cool for 10 minutes, and you can see me struggling here to measure a cup of brown sugar. And then once that butter is cooled off, you're going to incorporate the sugar into the butter. I did it in 2 separate sections just so it was easier, but sugar really blends into that butter rather quickly. It just melts in there. So you're gonna make a little, I think it looks like applesauce, a little brown butter concoction, brown sugar butter, I guess. And then while that sits, this is me trying to pick which bananas were the most ripe. As you can see, I told you they were pretty yellow. Also, I want you to ignore the cuts on my hands in this video. I'm so sorry. I'm actually very self-conscious of my hands these days. Very self-conscious. You can guess where those cuts came from. But anyway, this is me mashing the bananas. Now, again, because they weren't super ripe, it was a little harder to mash them, but not impossible. This recipe really gives you a forearm workout. My arms were tired after this, but very worth it. So I am just mashing it up, and then I'm going to add that brown sugar butter mixture. I'm just gonna pour it right over the top. Does that look like applesauce? I don't know what it looks like. Maybe not, actually. I don't know. But it smells delicious. So you're gonna whisk that together with the ripe bananas, and it goes together quite well. Although for me, with banana bread, I am like a big texture person, so I don't like big chunks of banana. But anyways, so you're going to then add 1 egg into your mixture. This is me trying to beat the yolk so that it all meshes together. So you're gonna add 1 egg, and you want to add the whole egg in there. Then you're going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And if you've ever baked anything, you know that vanilla extract, a little bit goes a long way. So just 1 teaspoon. Whisk that into your mixture, and now things start smelling real good. So you're gonna mix all that together. This recipe is just so warm and comforting. I love it. Then you're gonna bring in a separate bowl, and you're going to start another mixture. So here you're going to add 2 cups of flour. So this is where our dough is really going to start to come together. You're going to add some baking soda. I believe it is it's 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and then 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, just for a little some. And then you're going to mix that all together. You don't have to do anything crazy. I just used a fork and just kind of did a quick mix. And then I did this in 2 batches as well. The recipe didn't say to do this, but when I bake, it's just easier, and I find it's less messy to do a little bit at a time. But the recipe did say to gently kind of fold it all together. So initially I started with a whisk, as you can see, but you'll see in a second that I'm gonna switch. So this is where the forearm workout really starts to kick in. So you're gonna mix all that together. Then I'm gonna add the rest of the flour. It is a miracle that I didn't make that much of a mess when I was making this. I had to feed Luna at the appropriate time so that I knew she would leave me alone while I baked this. But anyway, as you can see, I moved on to a spatula type thing, and I'm just gently folding it all together. And eventually you will have a dough that looks kind of like this, and you want to make sure that you don't see any raw flour sticking out. You want to make sure it's all blended. Then you're going to get your semi-sweet chocolate chips, and you're going to measure a cup of them. And it's really hard to show you on camera. I was trying to show you, but that's a cup. But you know me, and my family is also very similar. I was like, I'm going to add a few more. So then you're going to add that into your mixture. It looks like a lot, but that's what it told me to add. So you're going to fold that all in together, and you want to make sure that it is nicely spread evenly through that dough so that every bite of the banana bread has a little bit of chocolate. That was my goal, especially when you bake it. Obviously it's gonna melt a little bit, gonna look good. Now I like to use parchment paper for my pans, but as you can see, I left it in here because I thought it was funny. I was really trying to I was struggling with this parchment paper, but it's okay. I need you to trust the process right now because it's gonna look like mayhem, but it came out perfectly, so just go with me, okay? So you're gonna pour your mixture into your pan. You can also grease it, it's up to you, but I've just had bad experiences in the past where I grease pans and things still stick, so I just use parchment paper when it comes to baking usually. So you're gonna pour it all in there, you're gonna spread it out into your loaf pan like so, just so it's nice and even on top and evenly distributed. And then I went and I cut the sides of the parchment paper just to make it look neater, because I think I'm just gonna bring it to my family's house like in the loaf pan with the paper. So I cut it to look much better, and then you're gonna let it cook for an hour. I think it's like 55 minutes to an hour. I just did an hour. And when you take it out, I mean, I was like stunned at how beautiful the bread came out. It looks so good. I'll give you a close-up. Oh, and it smells so yummy. I can't wait to take a bite, so let's dig in. Okay guys, I am gonna give you a close-up of, it's kind of falling apart, but that's what the slice looks like. Okay, so you definitely have a decent amount of chocolate in there. This is I call it the butt. I grew up calling it the butt of the bread, but that's okay. I did taste a little piece that like fell off. It tastes really good. Okay, cheers. Let's try it, and if you try this recipe, you need to let me know what you thought. Okay, let's do it. I love banana bread. It's so good, guys. I'm not even just exaggerating. It's so good. And if I do say so myself, this is cooked to perfection. It's like crispy on the outside, and then the inside so moist and so good. I will be honest, I was nervous about the banana situation. I was worried that it wasn't going to be sweet enough, because I've had some banana breads that just don't taste like anything. And honestly, that's what I thought was going to happen. It's still perfect. It's still perfect. My family's gonna be so happy tomorrow. My stepdad, banana bread is his thing. He loves making banana bread, so it kind of makes me think of like home, like being home. I also just don't think it's the same without chocolate. Personally, it's a nice touch. I almost made the pumpkin version of this. It was like pumpkin chocolate chip bread. I don't know what it was called, but I like banana better. Hot take, I think pumpkin flavor is a little overrated. Don't come for me. I've been like breaking it apart. I'm just gonna bite into it. moist it is. It's moist. I know people hate that word. I'm sorry if you hate that word. That was a good bite. That was a good bite. It was still a little warm. That was a good bite. I think semi-sweet chocolate is also definitely a good move here. Obviously, like I said, I'm gonna link the recipe down below. I can't take credit for it. Whoever came up with this recipe, good job. It's definitely sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's like perfect amount. Dog hair. Dog hair. I don't have a dog. Cat hair on my straw. It's gross, I know. If you have a cat, you know I have cat hair. My eyelashes, I have cat hair. Speaking of cat, I hear her. She's coming. I'm surprised it took her this long to find me. She always knows where there's food. Anyway, that was this video.